So, Becky, we were just saying that, asking if they remembered the message that Pastor Stevens preached on losing a loved one. And they didn't remember it, but Pastor Androlonis did. And it was after Pastor lost his first wife. And, he's comforting people, understanding what they go through and so on. So body life is like part of life for us that never goes away, and also doctrinal thinking, where we're able to grapple with the big things in life that help us, and to love one another and sorrow, not as others who have no hope. Let's turn to Romans 12, and we'll just make a few comments on this. Becky, that was Sunday afternoon. Like you had the face-to-face service Sunday afternoon, and in Fed Hill, and we had scheduled here one of our body members. It was Jackie Turmel, yeah, but that was postponed. But anyway, the attendance there in Federal Hill was very good. A lot of support and a lot of love. And it's online, so you can see it if you want to. This text is Romans 12, where we have the mind renewed in verse 2. And then it goes in, like after verse 2, it goes to like body life and ministry, and then like our responsibility to each other. So like that's a good question. Like you could just turn to each other at the table and just say, what responsibility do I have to you as my brother and my sister? Do you want to ask that question, Tawanda? You can ask that. Okay, go ahead. What responsibility do I have to you? Okay. What responsibility do I have to you?
I don't know, but I know, like I said, for myself, the Holy Spirit will give me something from the Word of God, based on my position, who I am, and I can, it was so precious to see that, like how everybody loved this family today. It just was blessing my heart so much, And I said, that's love,
Mm-hmm.
to love one another.
Beautiful.
He loved us. That's incredible.
Beautiful. No, that's it. That's it. That's exactly it. Okay, so let's go to verse 3. So we have mind renewal. Now it's going to address like how my responsibility is to each other. Like I have my brothers and sisters here, and I have to ask the question, how do I relate to you? What does it really mean? So verse 3, for I say through the grace given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. So this is a good starting point. Like when we think of ourselves too highly, it kind of builds a wall between me and other people. But if you could meet anyone, anywhere, and not think highly, then you can relate to them. You can love them, a homeless person on Route 40, somebody from another country, somebody who can't speak your language, and you think about them and care about them, So that's like, a very good point, verse 3. But to think soberly, and I always think of that to mean doctrinally, as God has dealt each one a measure of faith. Verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function. So because we are different, we have different function, that's a blessing to us. And I'm very happy that we're not all the same. I'm very happy that there are differences between us. And many times, I just look at somebody, honestly, many times I just think, wow, I love their portion. They're just simple, humble, quiet people that are just there. Yeah, and you know the family that comes to mind, like for years, is Bruce and Sue May. Like Bruce and Sue May are like just like they're just there. You know what I mean? And they're just my brother and my sister, and I love them and think of them in a very good way because of the way they are. And the body of Christ made up of those kind of people, right? Next verse, 5. So we, being many, are one body in Christ and individually members of one another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophecy in proportion to our faith. Or ministry, let us use it in our ministering, who teaches. In teaching, he who exhorts in exhortation. By the way, I don't know, not everybody has the same gifts, but I do have a gift of exhortation. It does happen, you know. Like I can exhort and you don't feel condemned. You feel edified, you know. Like if somebody is angry about something or you're told to do something and you know this is clear, like do this is what you are to do, and don't argue about it, just be obedient to it and be submitted to it, and God is in it. God is in it. Do this is God's will. To say that with some authority, and you're not condemned but you're edified, is pretty cool. You know, that's amazing, really. And we know what that is. Verse 8, he who leads with diligence, he who shows mercy with cheerfulness. And that's also another good point, mercy with cheerfulness. Like people bouncing around giving mercy, and they're very happy about it. They're not making a calculation and giving mercy grudgingly, but they're dancing around loving to give mercy. They're just filled with it. They just love to be gracious and to give mercy and to give gifts and to rejoice with you. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Verse 9, let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. Love without hypocrisy, you know. I don't know. I think we're good at that, to be honest. Like we love, we don't, you know, we're not trying to make an impression on people, or we're not hypocritical. It's not an act. It's really genuine because it's out of our heart. In Romans 5:5 comes out of our hearts. And we do abhor what is evil. We hate it. We don't like it. Cling to what is good. Verse 10. Again, let me repeat. What's our responsibility to each other? How do we relate to each other? This is a very edifying chapter because it describes kind of like the way we are. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love. Hey, at your table, mention 3 names, 5 names of people that are never mentioned publicly, like in the pulpit. 5 names of people never mentioned around here. They're not talked about. 5 names of people just at your table, and just say, wow, these people are awesome. But they're never talked about. And who are they? You had some names?
I was thinking about Sensen, a Chinese lady with her husband.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. They very faithful.
Eric, isn't it Eric? Her husband is Eric.
Eric, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that's it. Yeah.
Do you have some names? Bella. Sandon. Another name, Bella. Another name, Bella. Another name, Maddie. Your mom and dad. Huh? That's Geraldo. Did I say his name right? Geraldo. Geraldo. Do you have that sound in Brazilian? Port Geraldo, Geraldo.
Pastor Jim and Gail.
Yeah. So I'm reaching out to them. That would be great. Anybody else?
Just in case.
Worse. Better. Okay, any other name? We had here the Chinese woman with Eric. Sen. Okay. We had also Sandon right there. Sandon. Any other name? Marie Hadley. Okay. Tina Nye. Wow. Tina Nye. Mm-hmm. Another name? Oh, Paul Boucher. Man, the last will be first. He'll be first in heaven. He will. He's amazing, isn't he? Yeah. What? Tawanda. Yes. I thought of the people in the finance offices, Amanda, Leanne Tilton. Who else is in there? Avery Powers. Cheryl Leonard. Okay. Daniel over here. Daniel, we love you. Daniel Giovanni. Okay. How about Sky Zucker? Oh, my. And her cohorts over here. The right. What does it mean to be like kindly affectionate, right? Verse 10. Be kindly affectionate to one another. That's a very good. Do you know what I've noticed? Like men are not good at that. Is that true? Men, they're like rocks, stone walls. You know, what? It's like women are like amazing. Okay, I'll tell you a short story. I lived in Finland, right, and we had Tasjärvi. We had a big, like a motel, like a place. 70 people lived there. And it was mostly women that lived there. My wife and I lived there too. We had a room at the end of the hall, and we lived there, and we had fellowship. And Taya was there, probably, right, Taya? But wasn't it amazing? Imperio too. We survived it. I mean, we had. Wasn't it good? You did? Yeah. I know because I don't like to talk about the past and like as a habit, but I can't help it when it is really a very real thing, that happened. It was a phase. It was a period of time that God really is fun. So anyway, we decided to leave that place, and I don't really remember the decision-making process, how we decided I don't know if we had to because they were renting it to somebody else or how it happened, but we were there wasn't it a year and a half, I think? I think we were there for a year and a half. So then I'm advising people to just kind of go get your apartments, go live, figure out your own housing. But this period is over, except like we found a place in Vekula out near where your brother lives, right? Okay. Oh, you stayed there. Another year and a half? And who was in charge of that again? Was it Yorma or no? Oh, Dennis and Jackie. Okay. So I moved with the guys to Vekula, and I don't know how many, maybe 15 guys. I don't remember how many. But so my wife and I lived in that house, and Bethany was born, and we had her living there. I mean, we were a family, Lisa and I, and Bethany, and then these 15 guys. But like, the 15 guys had no like emotion. I'm like with these guys, like they didn't have any like there wasn't any emotion. I was coming from this house where there was a lot of like kindness and like kindly affection and like encouragement, and the women were amazing. I realized that Jesus must have loved the women that were following him because they could be like there to care for him and encourage him and everything. And I'm like in a monastery at the other side of the city with these guys who don't talk. Yeah, they don't talk, they don't answer your questions, and they don't express any feeling. And I did live there for a while, and then I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna like, so that's how it happened. Okay, that's verse 10. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love and honor, giving preference, not lagging in diligence, verse 11, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing steadfastly in prayer. Distributing, I'm getting to the point where I want to say something to Becky here, who's our dear sister here. Distributing to the needs of the saints, given to hospitality. By the way, like, hospitality is a very cool thing, you know, and we are recipients of it all the time. Like, there's so much hospitality in the body of Christ, you know. Like, people are serving each other, they like it, they're washing, cleaning, serving food, they're talking, they're laughing, they're singing, they're preaching, they're teaching. Like, you're welcome in my space. I like that. Hospitality isn't that I have a dinner prepared for you. It can be on the street. You're welcome in my space, you know. I'm hospitable. I want you in my life. I'm open to having you you are welcome in my space, you know. That's another way of saying it. Verse 14, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. So that's the part right there. Rejoicing together and then weeping together. Hi, Brigida. Identifying, rejoicing with those who rejoice and weeping with those who weep. And that's all. It's just, life isn't to be lived alone. We should be rejoicing together and then weeping together. You can be alone, and we can do that, but then it's better when I do things together. You know, I do a lot better when I'm with others. I relate to them, I listen, I talk, I relate to them. I do a lot better. I do my thing alone with God, you know, and I have a sauna at my house in the garage, and I go in there in the morning early, like it's just empty room. It's small and empty, nothing there. And I just am there before God, and That's what I want. I love that, to be able to worship God. Like we said Sunday night, that the Father seeks such to worship him. It's amazing. So you can be alone, and that's important, but then life is to be lived really with each other, with the good times and the bad times. When you have a bad time and you're weeping, don't just be by yourself, but get near. I had a friend who they said to me, in the mission field, we're brother. I'm the pastor, of course, and he just said, I have to be with you. And I said, why? Why? He said, it doesn't matter. I just need to be with you. Where are you? I said, yeah, come and be with me. Come and be with me. We don't have to talk about anything. Like, that's a very interesting thing. I need to be with you because I have to talk to you about my problem, or there's another way. I just need to be with you. That's all. Maybe the whole thing isn't, I don't want to have a problem at the center of what that may happen, but it may not happen. I don't need to talk to you about my problems. I just need to be with you. It's be with Jesus, Like Jesus said, he might not say what's your problem, he's just saying, be with me. Just kind of like cool it and just be with me. And when you're with me, you'll be okay. That's all. And that's what happened with this brother, too. Like, we never really talked about the things that it was troubling him. We were just together, and that was enough. Isn't that a good point? Like, we think we have to, like, put it all, maybe not, because this is body life. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't ask for help. I'm not saying that, nor am I saying it may be very useful, and it might be very good to put it out there. On the other hand, not everything all the time. I guess that's what I'm saying. All right, so with Becky, we just want to say, Becky, we love you. I love you. You're a body member. You're a body member. You're amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, really a body member, even though you're way, like, next to the moon over there, way over in Washington. But she stays connected, in this situation. You come here, you are with us, and this is like body life, and this is the only way to live, yeah. Not easy. No, not easy. It's not like we have, you can pull a card out and say, there, you're good. It's more like, no, here we are. And it hurts, but we're, to be honest, maybe we're only a few minutes away from going up in the rapture. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, maybe we're only some days. I always remember a tombstone in Hungary. I was driving along the road. There was a cemetery. I don't know why I stopped. I stopped. It was very unique because you know who was buried in the countryside in Hungary? And that was small military cemetery for Allied forces that were shot down over Hungary in World War II. So there was like in the tombstone, he was from England or Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. They were British, airplane pilots and people in airplanes that were shot down, and they just buried them in the countryside there. And I read one from a mother from England had it on the tombstone. I always get emotional. Oh, I always get emotional about it. But to my golden boy, I will see you in 5 minutes. Woohoo! Okay. Whoa. Okay. Great, you're dismissed.